Abbiamo pensato di presentarvi il nostro territorio in modo innovativo.
We would like to show you Saonara simply through the beauty of its images. This will be a tour through this fascinating area to reveal the peculiarities of a territory situated between Padua and Venice and known abroad for its tradition in nursery gardening dating back 2 centuries.
Del settore florovivaistico che qui ha avuto origine circa 2 secoli or sono. Un territorio, il nostro, ed una comunità.
An area full of local traditions and initiatives, socially sparkling, where life can be lived on a human scale and fulfilled peacefully.
Consentendo quindi una elevata qualità.
We hope you enjoy it.
Buona visione a tutti.
Situated 10 meters above sea level, Saonara covers an area of 13 square kilometers and houses a population of over 10,000 inhabitants. It is about 12 kilometers from Padova and 25 from Venice. It includes Villatore, Tombella and Celeseo, besides the main town of Saonara itself. It borders on St. Angelo di Piove, Legnaro, Padova and Vigonovo. The patron saint is San Martin of Tours, while the patron saints of Villatore are Simone and Guida. The coat of arms has a red stripe in the middle and 3 golden lilies, a leafy tree and a rake. Saonara is in twinship with the foundations of the town of Hope. The origin of the name Saonara is disputed. Some historians think it derives from the Latin sapo, the name of a clayey ground typical of the zone. Others say the name derives from Saponaria officinalis, a plant whose roots produce foam on contact with water. The name Villatore derives from the Latin Villa Tauria, as the area was used for breeding cattle. The first mention of the name Saonara is in an official document of 1080, but it is known that these lands were inhabited since the times of the Roman Empire. But even if there are no archaeological finds, it is certain that these territories were inhabited by the Paleo-Veneti. After the fall of the Roman Empire, these fertile soils were booty for the barbarians, who for centuries raged till the arrival of Charles the Great, who imposed his domination over the whole area. After Charles the Great came Federico Barbarossa. Later, Ezzelino da Romana attained power. The Carraresi arrived later, and they were always in conflict with the Scala of Verona. This continued until 1405, when the Serenissima Republic of Venice imposed its domination all over the Veneto and even further. The Venetian dominion lasted until Napoleon's arrival. After the fall of Napoleon, Venetian lands fell under the domination of the Habsburg Empire until 1866, when Veneto came under the Kingdom of Italy and participated in the 2 world wars. Savonarola became a victim of the Second World War. 44 civilians and a child of only 5 were massacred by German soldiers on the 28th of April 1945. These dreadful events were commemorated in 2005 when Savonarola was awarded the Silver Medal, stating that during the tragic days of the War of Liberation, Saonara suffered one of the most awful reprisals by German troops, who gathered 44 citizens, all men and children among them, brutally massacring them with bursts of machine gun fire. The victims were an admirable example of courage and the spirit of freedom and the love of one's country. For the last 2 centuries, Saonara is known all over Europe and even America as a land of nursery gardening, an activity which still today supports the local economy. It began in 1810 when the Venetian nobles Morosini engaged Benedetto Scravato as a gardener in their estate in Saonara. During these years, Benedetto changed his family name into Scravati and started to travel throughout Europe in order to buy all the new essences that were not cultivated in Italy. Becoming rich, he bought a part of the estate of his ancient owners, so the Scravati family saga started. Family grew. Many of their sons and nephews were employed in the business of management. Scravati's catalogues were famous for decades, some under the direction of the eminent illustrators such as Marcello Dudovic and Plinio Codognato. To understand the immense popularity of the Scravati brothers, it's enough to simply look at the list of clients. Among them, Casa Savoia, the government of Montenegro, the Emperor of Germany, the Ministries of Agriculture of Italy, Serbia, Portugal, Romania, Hungary, and the United States. However, after the war, the company fell into difficulties. In 1982, the activity of the Scravati family ended. While the family itself declined, the territory of Saonara grew with new activities, replacing the older ones. Today, Saonara is a real nursery gardening centre, comprising of 30% of the totality of nursery gardenings in the Veneto region. The production specialises predominantly in fruit production, including the viticulture division and one of roses, even if a significant portion is devoted to ornamental nursery gardening. The range also includes other niche divisions such as lawns, strawberries, succulent plants and cut flowers. Saonara is still recognised today as the place of nursery gardening, and based on this, local firms have started to build strong foundations, collaborative businesses, which will help give recognition to the local products all over the world. Following the success of nursery gardening over the last years, Saonara has shown promising development in handcrafts and industrial activities, especially in the sector of footwear and the production of agricultural machinery. There is also a segment of activity related to the flourishing of horse meat, which is sold to appreciative restaurants. The territory of Saonara is adorned with some significant artistic sites of historical interest. The most ancient is the little church of the Muneghette, today restored but dating back to the 12th century. The internal frescoes are of the Giotto school. The Church of Saonara, consecrated to St. Martin, was initiated in 1749 and contains St. Martin's altarpiece plus 5 altars. From the second half of the 18th century, the construction of Villa Torre Church is a tranquil place to admire the marble altar of Danieletti. Having been for centuries the residence of holy days of the Venetian nobility, Saonara possesses many prestigious glamorous villas: Villa Rossi, Villa Coin, Villa Scravati ex Morosini, Villa Rapisardi, and Villa Paola. But surely one of the most beautiful and majestic in Saonara is the park of Villa Valmarana ex Cittadella Vico d'Asere. The park, called Natura Munera et Artist, blends itself with God's work and art-like impression of man's talent. And it was Giuseppe Iapelli, one of the greatest architects of that time, that proved his talent by designing the romantic garden in the Italian way. Immersed in the green of the park, we can find the Templis Sepulchre, the statues of the goddess of spring, Hercules, and the god of Silvano. There is a little lake which turns in unity of feeling, unfolding the genius light about it. Antonio Vigodazare employed workers to create the work of art that still today impresses the whole world with its magnificence. To the magnificent Villa Valmarana, Saonara offers some moments of life in the open air. The waterway, Parva Venezia, still under construction, crosses the territory of Saonara and awaits the finishing touches, and will become a place of serenity to spend some leisure time. It should also be noted there are some wonderful routes taking you through the beautiful countryside. In Saonara, there are a number of associations of which are thriving. More than 40 are associations working across civic areas, associations of voluntary work to help needy people, sports societies, groups who devote themselves to leisure activities, groups devoted to arts, an association for civil protection, federations of farming, sports teams, a great and rich kaleidoscope of activities where everybody can find an area of interest to enjoy themselves and spend time together.